Hello, Jermaine Griggs here from hearandplay.com, and I am joined by the man himself, y'all, in Musician Breakthrough. He is spearheading this thing with us, kicking us off, Mr. Jason Freeman, also known as Jay Free. Good to have you.
Man, it's good
when
to
I
be
say
here.
this guy is talented and now world-renowned, we'll get into that a little bit, but he is here to show us, basically, what are you going to show us?
I'm basically kind of break down the 5 elements of church worship music.
Worship, okay.
You know, the hymns, traditional, transitional.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm going to do a little bit of praise and worship.
Praise and worship. So you got praise, you got worship, you said hymns, shouting, and transition.
Oh, definitely. Got to do the shout. Got to get the shout
so
on.
You step by step, you got stuff to take them to the next level.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And I believe it. You know why I believe it? Because the proof is in the pudding. Jay Free, you said you started when you were how old?
I started playing piano when I was about 5 or 6 years old.
5 or 6 years old. So when we tell people, I know he looks young, younger than me, he has been playing for literally like 25 years now.
I've been trying.
Looks like deceiving. He's a little older than he looks. He got a few on me, y'all. He got a few years on me. But you said your older brother, so
Yeah.
you got inspired by him. He was a teenager.
Absolutely.
Give us a little glimpse of how it felt coming up under your brother who was getting out there, and here you are at a tender 5 years old. We got some grown folks still struggling to play this thing, and you figured it out as early as 5 years old.
Well, actually, you know, I grew up in the Baptist church, you know, right here in Los Angeles. You know,
Straight Baptist or Baptist? How Baptist?
Baptist, Doc. I'm talking about Baptist.
Okay, it's like, so you grew up playing songs like what?
Jesus keep me near the cross.
Okay,
You know?
so you got your hymns. When we talk about one of the elements is hymns, you started that way.
Absolutely.
By force, you had to.
Had to. You had to know the songs that were actually in the hymn book. You know what I'm saying? By the number, not by the name.
So when they said 89, you
better,
knew.
Yeah, you better know Jesus keep me near the cross, Doc.
Wow, so you read sheet music or you picked it up all by ear?
There were people in my church that did kind of do the sheet music thing, but that was my ear, you know, actually learning from the sheet music, but I learned the sheet music to play by ear.
Sure.
So
and at some point, I know you flipped it. So you went from what was there to, as you got older and older, the mind opened up. You figured out that you don't have to play it the way it looks or the way it was written.
Yeah, thanks to my, you know, my older brother, he showed me there was some chords that you could alternate, some bass notes you can alternate, you know, get a whole different feel, especially in worship.
So to say the least, you were being humble because you went from that tender 5-year-old player playing hymns out of the traditional hymn book to playing for folks like, help me out, Donnie McClurkin, Kurt Carr, even the world-renowned Bishop Blake at West Angeles.
Yeah.
Give me some more.
Bishop McClendon over at Harvest Fire. Also, Owen moved to Denver, Colorado, and worked with Dennis Leonard.
Relocated him, y'all. He's been all over the world with this music. And even some folks, I know this is gospel in this particular program, but we actually teach jazz and soul and R&B as well in other programs. You play for Beyonce. I mean, she's number one. I mean, in that realm, Beyonce, her sister, Solange. You've been blessed to be in the studio. You've been on tour countless number of times. So I say all that not to toot Jay Free's horn or anything like that,
at all.
but to encourage you guys that you could be here and with hard work, dedication, commitment, sacrifice, you can get to there. And that's what I believe Musician Breakthrough is going to do for you guys. Again, hymns, praise, worship, shouting, and transitional music. And I heard you say that transitional music is one of your favorites.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, you could just kind of do different things while the pastor is speaking or while they're doing church announcements or whatnot. But that's where you can really stretch out and do some interesting things.
Yeah, I really think that that's one of the most important parts of worship. Sometimes it can be, you know, very, very delicate because, you know, we don't think that, you know, we think we're in concert.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually creating the mood music behind the pastor, the preacher, whoever, you know, especially going from one song to another song, or actually one part of a service to another part of the service. That music is so important, you know, because it's people in there, you know, that they may walk out church, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason they came.
Yeah, it's your job to segue them into the next part.
Yeah.
So the musician's job is important. So we're going to cover all of that in this course Up next is contemporary worship. You got a few concepts and ideas for us.
I do.
So you guys, without further ado, Jason Freeman and worship in the next segment. We'll see you there.
God bless.
So I'm here with Jason Freeman. Welcome back to the worship segment. Here's where, we're going to break down a few worship ideas. The first one is actually what I'm calling an extended progression because there's a lot of chords. I believe you can apply these chords to just about any kind of worship music, even mood music, transitional music. But for this segment, these chords are going to sound like songs like How Great, and things like that. But don't just think of one song. Think about the many other ways that you can use what Jason here is going to show you. So Jason, without further ado, take us away.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jay Free, what I love about this chord progression, first of all, it's in the key of E. We'll talk about that soon. But I like that it covers every scale tone, if you will, of the key of E. You have one chords in there. I saw you go to the 6. I saw you go to the 2, the 5, the 4. It covers everything. And so what I would say to people listening to this, as he explains it, don't just say, how can I learn this exactly the way he played it? Think, what songs do you go to the 2? Thank you, Lord. From a basic song like that to the newest song that just came out, when you have to go to the 2, adopt some of these chord voicings, these ideas from them when you need to go to the 6. So this is about a number game at this point. Know your numbers, right?
Gotta know your numbers.
And draw from these different inspirations. Mr. J. Free here being a big one at that. So as he explains it, think about that. But let's go back to the key of E. Doc, how you start playing? I mean, you said that this is like one of your favorite keys.
Absolutely. Actually, all of the white keys are my favorite keys. That's the keys I learned. I started in the key of C. And, I went from C to, like, B. And right now, B is, like, always been my favorite key. But as far as worship, you put any of these worship songs, any of the worship songs that's in any of these black keys and the white keys, it's going to have a whole nother effect, a whole nother feel.
I haven't heard it that way before. You said this goes back to childhood.
Oh, yeah. My mom, she loves gospel music. She loves, all of the soulful, down home, southern.
Right.
But,
woke up this morning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? With my mind staying on Jesus. But, you know what I'm saying?
There's another side to her.
She go home on Sunday and she turn on that CCM. You know what I'm saying?
Contemporary Christian music, y'all. That rock feel.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The rock feel, they got the guitars, and the guitars, they're tuned to the white keys. You know what I'm saying? E and A and they.
Right.
All, you got Israel, with
Right.
Everything is in, not everything, but, a lot of stuff is in E, you know what I'm saying?
So you got that feel from both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, she also taught those songs to the choir, and I had to be the musician, so, I guess you can, like you said, some people's weakness just so happened to be my strength because that's the way I grew up.
Gotcha. So I encourage everybody, don't shy. Don't skip this chapter just because it's in the E and you find that it's going to be difficult for you to pick it up. Take it on straight ahead, and I guarantee you, you will find breakthrough in your plan.
Yes,
so, Jay
sir.
Free, it's on to you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, basically, I started the song on that 6. I went to the 5, just the basic. You can say in your right hand, you just play like a B major, you know what I'm saying? You play that over the 6, and you take that down a half step, actually a whole step, beg your pardon. Just like that, very simple.
Right, so on the right hand, F sharp, B and D sharp, B major chord, left hand C sharp. And then on the second chord, your left hand is doing B, and your right hand is just doing the basic A major chord, right?
That's all it is.
Second inversion.
Yep.
E, A, and C sharp. Okay, got you.
And if you want to just kind of make it a little bit more fuller, you add the 5. You know.
Okay.
Make it a 5.
Make
you
it
know
like
what
a
I'm saying?
nice little power chord there.
Exactly. You're still in the key of, you know, E, but if you're right here in the 6, you can just add that 5 to make that, you know what I'm saying? Like
Do
so.
you begin your songs this way a lot? I mean, is this something that could go into other songs that just pick up on the 5?
Well, pretty much a lot of songs, you know, can start on the 5 and 6, you know, because you can also alternate the 1 for the 5
Right.
and get even better results sometimes. So say you're in E, you're playing How Great or we know whatever song you're playing, and you can also start instead of starting on that 1, which is your E, you start on the 5,
So in advance,
which is that B.
Yeah.
You feel me?
With the same chord.
Same chord in the right hand.
Gotcha.
You know.
Which there's a name for this, a 6/4 chord, where you put the 1 over is 5 bass. Kind of like it's an inverted 1. Still a 1 chord, but you invert it to put the 5 on the bottom.
That's true.
And it kind of gives you that open feel.
Absolutely.
Kind of neo-soulish a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so you got your first technique right here. Whenever you want to begin a song, try to alternate the 5 out for the 1. Now, will it work all the time?
It might not work on some things because of the melody.
Right.
See, if the melody is on the 1 or close to the 3 or the 5 or maybe even the 6,
Right.
you might be able to work with something that maybe even a 7. You know, you got that. That's what gives it the beautifulness. That, you know, you got the 5 at the bottom, you got the 7 at the top.
Right.
Beautiful marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cover that, because you changed it up a little bit right there. That new voicing that you just did there.
This would be what you can consider this a guitar chord. You know, I learned a lot of my chords from guitars.
Right.
So.
Interesting, because we have another player, Jairus Mosey, said he learned his stuff from keyboard players. He tries to imitate keyboard players. You over here doing guitar stuff.
Because it's just like, you know what I'm saying, you don't be limited to your instrument, you know what I mean?
The grass is greener on the other side, or what?
The grass is greener. Always greener on the other side, you know what I'm saying? You take what you can from other instruments and you put it to yours.
And I think that's what makes you so unique.
I mean, I appreciate that, man.
So,
I just try to, like I said, I learn from everybody and put it together.
Cover that for us. I know they can see it flashing on their screen, but can you just call those notes out left to right?
Okay.
That particular voicing.
Your left hand, you have E, you have a G sharp, you have C sharp, F sharp, and, well, actually, you can play this in your left hand, like so. You know, you can use a 1, 3, 5. You can use whatever like fingers you feel comfortable with. Right. Your right hand, you're gonna use that F sharp, B, and D sharp.
Gotcha. It's a beautiful voice, and you like this because of the major 7 on top.
I love it because of that 7, and also if you want, you can suss it out. Put that G sharp in there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that with that 5. However you choose to play, you don't have to play all of the notes, but the whole thing about it is that 5 right there, that can be your bass. I mean, that can be, you know, where you start from, just like the 1, either one.
Gotcha. So onward, Jason. So you start with that. Now, where does the song go? I believe it goes to the 3.
It does. It goes to the 3.
But you do some kind of transition to the 3. You don't just go to the 3, and I think that people can get a lot out of this.
Okay, so sometimes what you can do is you can either pass off that 7 and go to the 3 and go to, you know, your C sharp. I'll call it a 2-5.
And it is. It is a 2-5.
That's why I call it a 2-5.
Some people think 7-3-6. You know, it's all how you look at it. But, you know, it could be a 2-5-1 of C sharp.
Absolutely. I like the language of it. You know what I'm saying? I like the way 2-5
it's intellectual. You know, 2-5-1 of the 6. You know, we doing a, you know, so it's all how you look at it. If you want to keep it in the key of E, 7-3-6, right? Yeah. You know, if you want to think in terms of C sharp minor, still works, but you know, you're just kind of temporary thinking of that key. Yeah. Okay, so you got 2 ways to look at it. What are the Jason Freeman chords? That's what I want.
I would just say, you know, chords like you just use when you get to that 3. Some people use that, you know what I'm saying, which is a simple G minor, like a G minor or 7.
Of course, call that out for us, Jason. What you got? G sharp.
G sharp. I have B. I have D sharp, and I have F sharp. That's in my left hand. And right hand, you just have like a B major. You know? You can suss it out, put that C sharp in there. You know what I mean?
Yes. So B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and B. And you're playing that on the 3.
I'm playing that over a 3.
Now, what else would you do?
What I would do to that is just very simple. I love sus chords, so I would just add a C.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You can do that, or you can actually raise this F sharp to a G sharp, not even use this F sharp in your right hand. Just get this chord.
Right.
Feel me?
Yes, absolutely. So that's like a sharp 9, sharp 5 kind of chord.
Yep. And I would also take out some of the notes in your left hand so you don't have like the clutterness and just keep like the,
yeah.
You know?
Sometimes less is more.
Less is always, you know, you
Is
already
that
know,
the secret?
Man. That is the secret.
Okay.
You play less, you get more.
Absolutely. So those are your 3 chords. Now, if my ear serves me right, I heard a little in between. I don't know what you call it, a twiddly-do or something that you did in between that 3 going to the 6. And I know people are just dying to know what that is.
What I probably did was a half-step little chord change, something like that.
And that, if there's anything to be broke through, is those kind of little things that people hear, you know, the professionals doing, but they don't know what to do. So what's the secret to this?
One of the secrets is, I call it rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis? I've never heard of that one before. What does that mean?
It's just a simple technique of wherever your hands are, you just lock your hands and have them like you have rigor mortis just set in.
Okay, so rigor mortis is some kind of condition?
Rigor mortis is what happens after you die. You just get real stiff.
You know deep with it.
I mean, I think of it like that because some people, you know, they're just real, like, you know, real technical and they just all over the keyboard. I basically, I have my hands be stiff to wherever the notes are, especially if I'm doing half steps or whole steps.
Right.
You might end up hitting some wrong notes. I mean, it sound like, you know, crazy.
Yes.
So when you do a step like this, just playing a simple in your left hand, you're playing F, B, right hand, D sharp, G sharp. Simple.
Wow.
4 notes.
Yeah, I know.
And all you do is
the way
just...
you use it, you make it seem so advanced, like you're playing a lot of notes, but you're not.
It kind of sounds like that a little bit because I guess the forcefulness of you actually attacking it. You know what I mean? You could be like, you know what I'm saying? Right. That has a whole nother feel to it.
Dynamics.
Exactly. You know?
And is that just half step movement? I mean?
That's all it is, just a half step movement. The same notes you have there, you can also, if you want, put that G on the bottom for a bass note. And then it's just a half step. You know, you don't skip any notes in between.
Right.
You know? Going back to that 6.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So one more, let's call out those notes just one more time, just to make sure we have it. So tritone here.
Tritone.
So F and B.
F and B in your left hand.
And then the 4th up here.
4th up here, you have a D sharp, G sharp.
And just bring those up.
Yep. And if you want, you can just add like a pinky, because your pinky seems like it might be a little lonely. All you're doing is adding that B and that C. Half steps.
That's nice. So what's the principle here, Jason? The principle is anytime you want to go to the 6, that's something they can use.
That is something that you can use. Definitely.
It doesn't matter the song, right? Maybe you got to turn around the melody or whatnot. This same chord, if your melody was different, just to give them an idea, what would you do if maybe your melody was inverted and, you know, this wasn't on top? How would you flip that?
Another thing you can do is you can use that same kind of situation, but actually make it minors.
Wow.
Kind of have another, it's not as, you can say it's jazzy, but it's kind of, yeah, actually, it is real jazzy.
Yeah, it's jazzy.
You know what I'm saying? So you're like...
Rigor mortis jazzy.
Definitely. Like this one, you really got to have rigor mortis because you got more notes. And switching from all white keys to all black keys, you might be like... You know, you got to make sure you... At the same time. So it's the exact same bass notes.
And this is chromatic movement right here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, gotcha. Let's call those out.
What we're using in your left hand is G and F. And then your right hand, you got A, C, E, and G. And you're just gonna move this up half step.
Gotcha. And just take those notes up chromatically.
That's it.
So if I have you right, what people should get used to is playing that flat 3 before they go to the 3. That chromatic rigor. Am I saying it right?
That's
Rigor
right.
mortis.
Rigor mortis.
I'm gonna Google that. I mean, I don't want to know what happens after I die.
Right.
Well, I know what happens.
Come on, Doc.
Come on. I just don't know what happens to my hands. Rigor mortis.
Nah, we don't need it though.
But in terms of playing that I hear what you're saying. And do you recommend people just practice these things chromatically, you know, in the comfort of their own home, you know, in between gigs and stuff, just practice a lot of their chords chromatically? I mean, fourths is one way because music moves a lot in fourths, but to learn this rigor mortis kind of stuff.
I would definitely tell them to practice it. Simple things like you can, has nothing to do with white keys, black keys. It has nothing to do with any songs, but you can take a simple 1, 3, 5 and C. Or you can start in C sharp, wherever you feel comfortable. And what you do is you just basically, every last one of them without even paying attention to you can, you know what I'm saying?
You saying somebody as professional as you does something that basic.
Yeah, every day. Every day.
Every day.
Every day. You just don't even pay attention. You just kind of set your hands at rigor mortis and just...
Right. Because, you know, some people think, you know, you're only doing the fancy stuff. You move beyond major chords and stuff.
Absolutely
but here it
not.
is from the man himself. You know, was you doing this when you were on MTV with P. Diddy making his man?
Oh, we were doing